Me again! We are back with some more A Link to the Past. And today we have PH going over the... Sorry, I had a bunch of pings, making sure everything's okay. Alright, so PH is with us today for 2 hours to teach the next section of the No Major Glitches speedrun for A Link to the Past. So he's going to be stopping where our last mentor left off, and that will be right outside of Skull. And then he's going to go over Spooky, and he'll teach you what that means, and get the flippers, Ice Palace, and we're going to stick with a more beginner-friendly route and learn Mire today. First, I know that some people in the mentor program and some runners for this category will do Swamp before Mire, but to make things easier to learn and to simplify just teaching Spooky in both of these places today, it's going to be easier to go back to your mentors when PH ends, and then you can ask him as a mentee. You ask your mentor, what do you think I should be doing, based on what your routing's looking like, what safeties you're needing, all of that. Your mentors are here to help you and to advise you, but in the end, it is ultimately up to you. So I'll hand things over to PH, and yeah, good luck. Have fun.
All right. So, hello everyone. Let me know if everything's okay, but otherwise we're going to kick it off here. So, just to talk a little bit about, really fast, this is kind of like a random thing, but it does come up a lot when watching like different runners, is right now we've just finished Skull, right? And you can see that I'm on the mirror. Many of the runners, especially as you get more advanced, will menu to mirror at the end of a fight. This is very common because it means that you can basically be mashing as you start. If you don't do that, then note that you will still be on the fire rod. So really quickly, if you don't already do the menu before, you'll need to make sure to, and then it's up left. There are a bunch of different fights where very commonly you will want to get to mirror coming out of them, getting back to the light world. And it's almost always going to be on one of these two items. So it's very easy. Just remember to make sure that you switch over, or you're already on the mirror here. What you're going to be thinking about is, all right, we're going to be fluting, and this is kind of how you do a lot of the next few dungeons, is you'll beat the dungeon, and then you'll mirror to the light world and set up for a flute. What I'm going to also do kind of similar to what I think a few of the folks before me have done, which is focus on more some of the tougher rooms and a little bit less on some of the simpler stuff. One thing that I think some mentors have talked about, and I'll mention here as well, is the idea of trying to shorten how long you have to wait for the bird when you flute, right? Because you can, and again, depending on your item layout, it might be slightly different. For kind of like the no safeties layout, if you're on the mirror here, it's up left, right? And that's getting to the flute. Once you do that, you're going to be mashing flute. So almost always, you're going to, as soon as you are coming out of a menu with the flute, you're going to really, really want to be mashing to it. And there's a few different ways that you can get set up for this, actually. Let's get back to, I should have set the save state here. So what I was doing, and which is okay, right? You can also you can just like stand there and immediately flute. But it's relatively low cost to flute, walk to the right, and then just start walking back left. So the cue is the second whistle, right? You hear and if you walk to the right, wait until you hear the second whistle and start walking left. It saves a small amount of time, but it's relatively free. The other option that you have is, you mash flute, you can dash See, like, this is the thing. I don't actually do that, so I miss it. But the idea there is that you dash to the right to hit the guard and then dash back left. And that will save a little bit more time. It's not risky if you learn it, but you can see you can miss the bird if you have the wrong timing. So it's a little bit, the walk strat is a little bit safer. It's not dramatic. None of these are like dramatically slower. It's about 10 frames faster on the walk strat and 20 frames faster on the dash strat, if I remember correctly. So the idea is, it's just gonna bonk. You're going to get yourself set up, by the way, get your flute, get to flute to 4. I'm not gonna get like really into some of the like really twitchy mechanics. For example, like you can, you know, use like faster movements to get to the flute 4 screen and whatnot. If you're in one of like the really high level groups, talk to your mentor. They may have already talked to you about it. I'm kind of gonna gloss over some of that stuff. We're gonna flute to 4 here. So there's a couple of key things you want to do. So one is we're gonna walk below this bush and then dash turn up. This is, you've probably heard a lot of talk about dash turns in the mentor stretch so far, right? But this is a great example of where, because you can't face up, you're gonna pick up the bush, it's gonna mess you up, right? But you're walking down left, get below it, dash turn up, you'll jump off. And then, so I use a little mnemonic, and Pops mentioned this, we want to set up spooky. And so I'm actually going to cheat here a little bit and skip to a later save state for a second, just to show what we mean about spooky. And actually I meant to do this before, but let's add, there it is. So you can actually see that we are setting up a, like a tracker. You can actually add this to your practice hack. As you're entering ice, you want to be able to kill that guy as quickly as possible. But we're gonna do this again. And then I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna explain what we're talking about here. So I'm gonna just, you know, here, I'm gonna flute again. Let's see if I can. And I want to mess up my spooky variable. Whatever. So what we're trying to do here is actually change the height. So the way that this game kind of does the fire rod splash damage, which is what we talk about when we mean spooky, is, and I'll explain the idea behind that in a second, like why we chose that name. But what we're actually doing here is we are setting an altitude variable because the game uses the same height that the bird leaves the screen on as it does for the splash damage for the fire rod, which is, you know, a choice, but it's a totally reasonable one. And so what that means is, if you remember how I was able to easily hit the guy, like it messes up by actually changing how the fire rod will splash. And this is going to matter a little bit in here. It's a little bit faster in early Ice Palace. It will matter a lot for later when we get into Mire, right? But the whole goal behind this is that we're going to be really trying to set our altitude variable appropriately. And what that means is, first things first, so we'll just do this section again. Flute back to 4. So again, I like to just beam that guy twice, start walking back left. We flute to 4, and you can see that our variable there, right? And you can actually watch it change as the bird flies, right? You can see where it says A8 right now, and it literally goes up and down. But what we want to do is, the game actually starts tracking it as soon as you flute, even before the bird gets on the screen, which we use. So you're going to walk down, dash up, and right as you leave the screen, you're going to flute. And you can see that now it says 0, right? So let me mess it up again. I'm gonna dodge. I think it, do I have to get caught here? Whatever. I thought it should say, put us flute to 4 again. There we go. It only works after he catches you, I guess. See, today we learned. But, so you can see that it says D0. And when I flute, I'm going to walk up off the top of the screen. Because you can see as soon as I flute, it sets it back to 0. And so now we have set a good quote-unquote spooky value. This is going to be helpful for the start of Ice Palace. I like to use as a little mnemonic. I like to pretend, because this guard will always pretty much immediately aggro, I like to joke that we are intentionally aggroing him by fluting. You're alerting the guard on his behalf. So congratulations, we've alerted the guard, right? So that's a small thing. This will matter a lot more in Mire. It matters some now, but it's good practice to get into. So this screen is a little tricky. What you really want to do is, so I was a little too far to the left there. What you're really trying to do is walk up kind of like underneath the, get him out of here. You're going to walk up underneath this sign, and then we dash, and the area you really want to be in is kind of like the crook of this tree here. Like a little bit left or right is generally okay. You can get poked out or frame rolled. But we want to kind of like dash here and then dash up. And a little, obviously a little more to the left. Being a little too far to the right is okay if you're going to cancel your dash. What we're trying to do is dash through these, like the guards that are here. And we're now going to use this warp. You want to set up for a quick warp if you can. This is a tricky one to get. So the goal here is and you can see that I have the kind of you have the quick warp denotation on right in the upper left of your screen, that the red, the QW. So you may notice that when we're right up against the wall, we are not on a quick warp pixel. But if we go, I want to go, so you can see that that's a quick warp pixel, is 1 to the left and 2 to the left, right? E and F are the two in the hex denotation of the next two, right? So if you are against this wall, you will not get the quick warp. If you are very, very, very slightly to the left of it, you will. So what often runners will do is they will kind of like dash up, nudge against this, menu to mirror, and try to do like and use like an up left movement out of the menu to try and go like one, because it gives you remember when you have diagonal movement, you move 1 up and 1 over, so it gives you like 2 pixels of buffer there, 2 frames of buffer movement that you're trying to stay in the quick warp. So because you don't, like, that's too far, like I went too far, right? But 1 more to the right is good. So it was like I almost got it, it's too much. But that's the general gist. Is you do want, again, it's more or less free. It's not the end of the world if you miss it, but you want to try and get it because it saves about a half second each time. So that's like a non-zero amount. Once we are through into the Dark World here, one of the things that you really want to try and do is move down slightly and then dash to the right. And the reason why, I'm just going to walk this for a bit, is dashing along the grass. It is faster if you are cutting the grass as you go, because the movement is better, and I think there's a lag benefit too. Right, so you can see how, oh, thanks. Like, you want to move down, I believe it's like really very little. It's like one or 2 pixels. Like you don't want to move down too far, or you don't get the benefit. And you're just going to kind of like dash here. Now, okay, thank you. So one thing that sometimes, so there's the 2 moblins here, and sometimes this dude, the lower one, will, because you're going to dash across, right? And then you're going to come, you want to cancel your dash, walk down, and then dash out kind of along the top here. But sometimes that dude will be throwing a spear at you. This is a little bit of a, you have a few options. So you can always just like walk below it. It's not the end of the world, right? It's fine. If it looks like he's kind of like lined up with you, you can just go below where he is so you don't get at risk of getting hit, and then dash out to the right. Total time cost here is not that big. If you want to try and be faster, you can start your dash facing down, and he's like kind of in the way here, which is funny. But you start your dash facing down, and you can see that you can actually, right, when I dash turn, I can face left and then back right. And the idea behind it is that you actually will face left briefly to block the spear, and then finish your, and then after you block the spear, turn back right and dash out. You've probably seen runners do this. It's worth it if you're comfortable with the movement, but it's not worth it if it's going to mess you up or if it causes you to get hit. Like, it is totally fine to just be a little bit more cautious and avoid him. This is not that long of a dash, and, you know, losing the dash frames there isn't really going to kill you that much. OSA is right, actually. If you get bad RNG anywhere in the entire run, every time, just reset. That's actually the best strat. So this screen's really simple. Just make sure you tap up before you start your dash. If you're facing right, you'll grab the sign. So just tap up. This screen's a little funny. So I'm gonna do the movement that is a little more traditional. By the way, if you look at like the world record runs, second place on, like what I'm about to do is fine. And somebody like Fox might yell at you, and just ignore him. He's old and grumpy. The general gist here is that there are actually two strats. There is one that is slightly newer that I'll show here in just a second. But you can get a 122.30 with 2 blue balls doing this, so it's fine. Is dash to the right, dash up along this hill, and then the big trick is you want to watch the moblin movement, because ideally what you do is you cancel your last dash up where you're not even with a moblin, because you're going to start another dash anyway, so canceling your dash a little bit lower is fine. The total amount of dash movement doesn't change, but when you start a little, you just don't want to get at risk of getting a spear thrown at you. That's bad, right? So that's kind of like the old movement. What you will see a lot of runners do now is they will walk up and then dash right along this. And then you can walk up to the right and grab, and so you're kind of like walking. This is your line, is this thing. And then you're dashing out. I think it is slightly faster. I don't know it super well or do it. Grab the rock, walk up, throw it, and hit the popo. You want to be careful. Don't throw the rock too early. Like, don't be like mashing, because you can actually accidentally throw it while you're still like transitioning, and you'll get screwed. So let's talk this screen for a second. This is the lotto screen, right? If you want to try and take the fastest approach, you are going to walk to the right. You do need to watch the popo, because you can see how the popo has different jump heights, and it's low, it's low, it's low, and then sometimes all of a sudden there'll be a big jump, big hop. Excuse me. So if the popo does a big hop, that's really bad. Maybe that's overstating it, but you need to walk above it. And you're going to be setting up for your dash here. What I have heard, I have no idea if it's true or not, it may be apocryphal, is that nudging this tree slightly when you're dashing to the right reduces the chance of getting what we call lotteried. Lotteried means this dude, who sucks, hits you out of your dash to the right. So there are also, exactly, big hop is also reset, right? So we can come down here, like that was fine. So that's the kind of like traditional general movement. I don't know why I didn't just create a save state, but. So that was a pretty big hop, right? You can see, so I nudged there, and you can see, like, my understanding is it's infrequent that you get nudged out if you have good movement. But if you are scared of getting hit out, it is totally fine to do what I just did there. That's what's known as a Louis dash, which is safe. So you come walk around up here, and you're going to dash through the top line of bushes, and that takes out the possibility of getting hit. It's about a half second to a second slower, I think. I want to say it's like around a second. I don't remember exactly. But if you get lottoed, right? So sometimes it'll happen like, obviously I didn't have like a good movement initially, but if you get lottoed, sometimes it'll happen like that. You'll get just hit. It sucks. I'll talk about what you want to do in that situation. If you are, it is possible to actually get knocked into the collision here, because that Popo is actually a magician, and walls don't matter to that Popo, and you can actually get knocked into the wall. So my understanding, and people who are smarter than I am can correct me in chat, as long as you don't take any advantage and you jump back out, it's like away, it's okay, and you can continue. It just sucks, right? You get hit, it's slow, etc. But you're not getting any advantage. So don't necessarily like freak out too much if you do get lottoed into the wall. If you are like, if you panic, then you can get yourself in trouble, like you accidentally like okay, so you may notice also Owaze is gonna have a theme in his comments here today. I think that's correct. That's my recollection. If Fox says differently, trust Fox. Or if like Meowski, there's a bunch of people who would know better than I would, but that is, if you get knocked into the collision here, that it's okay to jump back out as long as you don't gain advantage. Like if you come back out, you're not forced to like save and quit. But I'm just gonna, yeah. So the general gist, I'll let kind of Fox talk to it, and Meowski in the chat there, right? Is you're gonna come to the right here as you leave that room, dash up, dash down. Don't be scared. It's something that I actually still do sometimes, and it's very easy to kind of like, don't be too scared of the, it's de facto legal, good enough for me. Thank you, Fox. Don't be too scared. Remember, as you are dashing down, your shield is actually out facing the left. So even if the Dark Octorok shoots at you, you'll just block it. You actually won't get hit. There's only one really nasty RNG where the Octorok can kind of like walk into you as you're setting up for your dash. Like if you come across here and you're going to dash down and the Octorok walks into you, you can kind of see that happening. You do sort of need to adjust, but like don't be once you get this dash off, don't be afraid. Just get down, grab the rock, go up. Good enough, right? So on this screen, this is where we're going to get catfish, right? You're going to walk up, dash, you cancel with an up left, so you get like a nice clean movement where you're walking along here. This is for two purposes. I'm going to kill this guy. So let's say you did get hit and you did get lottoed. You actually are going to want to pick up this bush because sometimes it will have a heart under it. We're hoping to maybe get back to full health. Picking up this bush to throw it is not really that much slower, because when you pick this bush up, you walk really unusually fast. You can see like we're actually moving like very quickly for carrying a bush for whatever reason, right? So you can do that, try to proc the heart drop, but let's say you didn't get hit, right? Or you're doing Louis Dash. You can just keep holding up left straight into a quick hop. It's really nice because it gets you in a good position to also do the rest of the movement. So once you are here, you're going to walk up, around, grab this rock from above. It reduces the amount of time that you need to walk carrying the rock. I'm not really going to go over Quickfish for two reasons. One, I don't really know it very well. My hit rate on it is like 10%. Two, if you are worrying about Quickfish, you are at a point where you don't need to listen to my dumb face. So Quickfish is fun to learn, but it is, I think it's like 30, 40 frames better. It's not that big of a difference. Pick up the rock. Don't do that. Sorry, I'm like I was like thinking about Quickfish. And you're going to throw it in, and then you want to bonk. So something that has come up for a few different times. We're not just bonking because it's fun. The reason we bonk there is because it's a free quick warp setup. So when you don't want to let that go by, right? I'm talking. This is what I get for trying to talk. Is you're gonna dash up here, right? You're gonna grab the rock, throw it, bonk. You want to be holding up. So you can see I'm holding up right now because we want to make sure we walk up so we catch the Quake medallion while it's still in the air. Because right now, when we land, we're going to land on a quick warp position. And it's free. There's no reason not to do it. It does not, it's just a time save, right? So you're going to walk up and you can kind of see that you want to walk up ideally where you are slightly above the slope, because we're going to cancel the text box and immediately mirror, and we're going to just be able to dash right. And so what you want to do, ideally get as close to this without bonking, and then we're going to dash up. But what we want here is you actually want to cancel. So I cancel to the right. That's actually not what you want. You want to be dashing up along this so you're against the wall so you get not in the water. But then you want to cancel to the left. And the reason you want to cancel to the left is that the Zora screen is weird. You don't want your sword out. It's a mosaic transition, which is slower when you have your sword out. But also, we will be re-entering this screen from where you leave. So if you're further to the left, you'll actually come back out over here. As opposed to if you cancel to the right, when we re-enter, it'll be over there. Because it actually doesn't affect where you enter this screen. So the Zora screen, I'm going to talk about it a bit. The reality is there's almost no replacement for just like practicing, like watch FMG, like watch the dash lines and just practice it. Because there isn't really a trick to this, aside from learn where you're supposed to go and then just do it correctly, right? This is, in my opinion, one of the more interesting screens to practice. It's one of the longest dash line screens in the game with the most dashes. If you want to try and like get better at movement, this is a great screen to work on, because it's just like there's very little other than just like clean movement, right? So we're gonna dash up, don't go in the water, dash right. You want to kind of get up against this, walk up and to the right. You're going to go up here, dash up, along the water there. Your goal here is kind of like, you ideally want to have like clean movement where you're starting to dash every time you can. The reason why is dashing is even better in water than it is on land. The relative gain is larger. So dashes are really good. And ideally what you're doing also, you can see like you can cut those corners, right? Like when I'm dashing up, like you can see that you're actually partially on land, partially on water. It's very good to be, it's very good to try and like cut those corners a little bit, because the sooner you start the dashes, the more dash movement you get, right? So once we get here, we're just gonna talk to Zora. He is actually helpful, right? Grab the flippers, cancel with our LNR, and then we're gonna dash down. I generally swim with A and B, again here, and then it's kind of the same idea, right? You're gonna, so I use my cue for this is I kind of listen for like 3 steps. It's like 1, 2, 3, and then it's like, because you can see like you can be, so this is, in my opinion, by the way, the best named dash in the game. We call it the Jesus dash. You can see like you can, thank you. You can be really, really high and you're still able to run your dash, right? So you get this, and then again, similarly, you're going to come here, walk up, and then, thank you. This is what happens when I try and talk. Dash, dash down, dash out. Similarly, you actually don't want, so kind of in that same thing, you don't want your sword out there. You want to cancel your dash right before you hit the transition. but dashing. So now that we're back on this screen, right, and we come back in, you're gonna walk down left. Don't do that. Don't walk into the water. Once you get to where you can dash, you have a couple of different options. So like in FMG, the movement that it recommends is to dash all the way down and then kind of get down here and read I'm gonna just kill these guys so I can talk. Leave me alone. Read the RNG, right? And there will be a few different Zora RNGs, some of which are very easy to deal with, some of which aren't. I actually prefer a different strat that I think is a little newer, is as you're getting to the point where you can dash, get a pause buffer kind of like in this area. You can still see the Zora where he spawns, and if he's blocking you in a bad spot, you actually have the option to cut your dash off and come over here and then swim from this side, which gives like a second option for avoiding it. If the Zora is like really high, or actually if the Zora is on the like lowest point here, you can actually just swim right above him. It takes a little bit of practice because, you know, swimming is a little awkward. The one other thing you can do is Zoras are guaranteed bomb drops. If you are low on bombs, or if you want an extra bomb, or if the Zora is like right here and you finish the dash, you can just slash him and grab the bomb drop. It's not terrible. And kind of nice to have for, even if you're on like a regular bomb route and you've been fine, it means that you can potentially skip a pot pickup later. So let's miss the whirlpool. Swimming is impossible. Usually you're not going to be going dead right. You'll often usually be kind of coming like left, and you're going to swim like up left, come out of here, get on, wow, get back on this. And now the one other thing you may have noticed when I was showing the spooky stuff earlier, you're going to pick this guy up, and you can either throw it early or just carry it, but you want to enter from the left side. This is a free quick warp. You can see it on there. And so you need to get to the fire rod from here. You're going to up left. And again, you can see this is where that spooky benefit comes in. I'm actually going to just use the save state because I want the health back. So Ice 2 is kind of an interesting, it's actually shockingly easy to lose time in here, right? So the movement that I like is you're going to move down left out of the door, beam twice. And so again, let me amend this. This is assuming you have sword beams. If you've taken a hit, you won't have the sword beams. What you will probably want to do is fire rod. You now no longer have any extra magic though. Like I can't fire rod that second guy. If you are on beams, one of the benefits is if he's a jerk, you can fire rod him. You have one extra magic's worth to give right now, because there are 2 pots right above Cold Stare. So, you know, just you can see that like if you align yourself with the bottom of this, it's often like very straightforward. To me, it's like you come out of this door, down left so that you're aligned with this, do the 2 beams, go get your key, and then the trick is hit A right as you pick up the key, because you can see you can completely cancel. Like if I just do up, left, down, right, you can see that we slide. But if I hit A, it immediately cancels my momentum. So it allows you to much more easily get back into the movement you want. Grab the key. Oh, that was really well done on my part. Right. So there was actually a free magic drop. That's actually unusual, but really nice. So I had the extra magic. But the idea is that you can see if the berry is coming over to block you, that's when you want to use the fire rod potentially to avoid yourself from getting stuck. All right, next couple rooms are very straightforward, right? Just make sure you cancel stair lag, dash down, dash out. Here. So you can see that one thing that is kind of nice is as you're pushing the block, you can start your dash without following the block the whole way. That is, so there is actually a little bit of tech in the switch room there. So I'm gonna show it again. I should be, no, we're not on the dash. That's a little annoying. So you're gonna dash into this room, and you'll actually see a lot of people will do one of a couple things. They'll either move down at the start like that, or you can actually, as you get there, you can hold down right and into a down. And in either instance, what it does is it helps keep the penguins from, you saw how the penguins were going left. The two that weren't killed were going left and right at the top. They weren't coming back down. It is possible for one to, if it slides back down, to hit you. So you do want to, don't do that. It is possible to, right, get poked there. So getting like a little lower, getting the left side of the pot pick up, it just keeps you a little safer with the left-right movement. So in here, we're going to walk across again. So this is now, some runners may choose not to do this. Again, is you're going to want to menu to bombs. I like using the pause buffer there to see what that red berry does. You do not have to drop a first bomb early. You can, because it can mess with the timing here a little bit. It can make it a little bit sketchier if you're not comfortable or confident. But if you are, so what I would do is I'll come here, I hit Y and B at the same time. It drops the bomb and it slashes the switch. You can also drop the bomb before you slash the switch. I think either are good. The thing that it does, though, is it puts you a little bit on a timer for what you're going to try and do up here, right? Because ideally what you want to do is you are really trying to basically get yourself in a position where you can throw the bomb down. It does, again, it also means you use an extra bomb. I think this is good. But if you're not comfortable with it, that's a whole other thing. If you're trying to save the bombs, you're worried about the bomb jump, etc. But all right, we're still on. Good. So you come through here, like walk along the bottom, menu to bombs, slash that. There are a few different RNGs that you can get. I'm not going to go over all of them. Honestly, the best thing to do is to practice this room. The biggest thing is basically if you get, what you're really watching for is if you're going to get blocked. You can, I thought I set a save state, I didn't. You can, right? Okay, cool. So like if he was, so that was actually pretty good RNG. Like he stayed up there, but sometimes he comes down here. You can drop the bomb, slash him, grab the bomb, and then throw it. It can be kind of tight. If you are not comfortable with that movement, don't panic. The biggest thing in this room is the largest amounts of time losses are from panicking. Like if you don't get the bomb, so if you get the bomb throw such that it's like right along this and you can hit the switch again, great. If you don't get it, it's not the end of the world. You'll have an opportunity to hit the switch in the conveyor room. Just like focus on the number one thing in here is focus on getting like a clean toss down, not, thank you so much, not getting stuck behind these guys. As you get faster, the biggest opportunities will be the earlier you drop the bombs, the faster the room goes. That's what really, because that's what will define when this blows up, right? So you get a really early bomb drop here. If you get blocked, you're slashing the guy out of the way, then picking it up, then tossing it, and that's going to get you through the room as quickly as possible. All right, let me, I'm going to restart. I don't know why I didn't just use my save state, right? So like that's nice RNG, and then I blew it. See, like that's bad, because it's a waste of a bomb, and it like hurts, and now I have to do it again. See, this is what I mean. It's like it's very easy to kind of like panic, and if you get that toss, you will want to be on the bottom half of the orange pegs. If you're trying to hit the if you're trying to hit the switch with the second bomb throw, you want to be on the orange pegs. You want to be on the right side. I've actually, for some reason, seen a lot of people in rando, especially on the left side there, be on the pegs on the right side, because it means that when you fall down lined up with this pot. Yeah, bombable floor. By the way, I actually think it's really fun to practice. Bombable floor, I think, is a really interesting room because the berry RNG up at the top, like the getting blocked, dropping the bomb, slashing, getting back to the bomb, and throwing it cleanly is like pretty. It's not like hard, but it requires like clean movement, and I think it's interesting to work on. But so you want to come down here. So this room, the general strat here is we're going to pick this pot up, walk up above it so that we get the Stalfos Knight to fall. We're going to drop a bomb basically where this pot is. Then we're going to walk down left. We're going to pick up that second one, walk below it all the way to the wall. The easiest way for this room to go kind of sideways is if you are too high and you get hit by the second Stalfos Knight. That's when I watch people mess it up, or when I mess it up, it's almost always that. The bomb itself is super forgiving. My recollection is that it actually really kind of only needs to technically kill one of them, and it will kill both. Like, it's just kind of a weird thing, but like, it's very forgiving. So what we're gonna do is you should fall down right here, pick this up, walk above, drop the bomb right on the middle, walk to the bottom, and then throw it up. Right? So again, like, make sure you get down to this wall, all the way to the wall, and then just tap up and throw it. You do not want to go too high. That's where you will get in trouble. And also, this always has a heart under it, so even if you're not at full health, just remember that you'll get a heart here. So you're okay, right? Conveyor room. So perfect. There's a lot of different RNGs that you can deal with in conveyor room. Oh, I thought I went high enough. What you will sometimes see is that kind of movement where runners will use the spikes to line themselves up. So if you are at the highest possible point against these spikes, which you can get to by basically taking damage and then taking damage and then walking up against them, you'll be able to dash through, right? It's not really a requirement, but it does make the room faster. The bigger thing is making sure that you get a good clean shot on the berry. If you get bad RNG in this room, like if the berry kind of like gets blocked, you might have to slash twice. If the berry goes up, right, you can just go once. Just make sure, if you don't have beams, this room gets a lot more awkward because sometimes the berry electrocutes early and you just have to wait. So make sure that you're, perfect. In good position. Remember, if you haven't hit this switch, you want it to be blue. That's the big thing, right? Okay, so Ice Palace Bomb Jump. I'm not gonna, you could literally spend like an entire session on this, which I won't do. The biggest thing is, if you're not super familiar and comfortable, you can like walk out, push yourself up against the thing, do a spin setup. What you're gonna be doing is dropping the bomb. So the cue that I use when you've done the spin setup and you're facing to the right is that, so my sword was there was 1 pixel of space. You can also use the, actually, here we go. You can use the shadow as well. You can see Link's hat when he's facing to the right. I'm basically like even with the bottom of the, like that darker black bar. And then like Link's shadow, there's no lighter pixel between the bottom of his shadow and the little triangle on the floor. So there's a few different cues that you can use. Also, you can see there's like 3 of the lighter pixels that are below him on the left. You cannot be facing, if you are using that strat, you cannot be facing down from that specific spot because you will get caught on the side of this and you will fall. So what I generally do is this. That strat does take practice, right? What you are doing, so when you walk immediately out of the door like that, as you enter the room, you are actually 1 pixel off the wall, right? So watch, I can move up. You saw that I went from 831 to 830, right? I'll do it again. I'm at 831, now I'm at 830. Because you're slightly off, it gives you a little bit more room for properly hitting this. And what we're doing is we're basically coming out of the door, immediately walking to the left, and then using a dash turn to kind of like stop your movement. So the goal here is that we're trying to get close to the pit without walking into it by using a dash turn, right? And once you have done that, you can drop the bomb, and then there are 2 vertical positions that you can use. One is here, where you can see I'm kind of like splitting the black line. And then, if I can get the other one. Yeah, so that's actually the higher of the 2. So there I was splitting the black line. The second one I was even with the bottom of it. So it's like, I'll just, right? So the difference is you're kind of like splitting the black line in half, which I can't get because... Versus, so right now I'm flush with it. Like the top of Link's hat is flush with the, flush with it. That's too low. Where is it? There we go. So, is this right? Let's find out. So this is good. That's 37. Yeah, that's too low. It's going to be okay. So if you're all the way to the, so this is one of the weird things. 38 will work if you're all the way to the left. If you are not all the way to the left, it will fail. To me, the easiest thing to do if you're going to try and do this is really learn to get like, not like that, is to learn how to get like like that like split position. But you can see like I was actually too far over, and you kind of like, you get past the pegs and then you get knocked off the side of the pot. That means that your vertical position was okay, but you were too far over. So this is good, right? What you generally will want is, so one of the things that we try and do here is we will use a pause buffer. And I can see, okay, I'm in a good spot. You want to be on the hammer so that you can, I was actually slow is why I got hit, but you can do a hammer dash through this. So this should be good because I'm far enough to the left. Yeah. So that was actually the lower position, but it was still fine. And you're basically just going to be like taking, using that. So if you saw, the idea there was you're going to hammer dash through, cancel upright so that you immediately step on the switch, take a step down so that you can bonk against the wall and bonk over the pit and walk out of the room. In this room, you'll see FMG will say tap up and then dash, which keeps you on the grid. You can also hold upright. They're generally going to be mostly the same. So in here, Penguin lineup right, there's a few different, I use one that's a little safer and a little slower, where I start doing down left at like this second like pair of white dots. I think technically FMG has you start doing it on this line when you start doing the down left, and then as you finish the slash earlier. I would just play with it. Find something that works for you. In here, so I got questions about that a couple times so you want to try and learn how to slash as the spike is hitting you. It will cancel the knockback. It is worth taking damage there, and walking through it and canceling the knockback is actually a fair amount faster. So you don't have to go up against the wall like I did. My recollection is it makes it a little easier to time. So this room. So there are a few different ways you can do it, right? There's this is very slow, but fine, ish, right? Like the hammer strats will get you into a position you can just immediately dash out of the room. I didn't again. Nope, too far. So you can see that was still like a full second faster than like this nonsense, right? Like that's like about 6. I did it wrong. That's like 5, right? So the idea behind it is hammer, hammer down, left, up. Like you're using the hammer to effectively switch your momentum. That is not, by the way, anything close to the fastest strat, but it is fairly easy and a lot faster than like doing all of this stuff, right? Like you get like there, like you're gonna dash out. Like that's 6 1/4 seconds. So hammer left, down left, up left, just dash out. Easy, not that much slower. It is slower, right? But so that's you can. So I actually, funnily enough, I actually didn't need the dash. I got it right, but I didn't realize I got it right. The slash at the end there brings you back down, and if you slash with down right, it will cancel your momentum. You can either walk out of the room or you can do the dash. The dash, see, it's like, you have to, I have a hard time with it. It's funny, I got it that time. I got it again. Like, and you can see it's faster, but it's about 1/4 second faster there. Getting it while walking fully, I think is another, what, like 15 frames? There, yeah. So that's like, now we're talking about like a 1/2 second faster. So again, what I'm doing at the end there is it's the same hammer left, hammer down left, up left, and then you are slashing your sword down right, and then transitioning to a down input. And that will allow you to potentially walk out of the room. The last thing is slash down twice. That's not gonna work. I actually do it this. Nope. You can do, so the funny thing is this is what I used to main, and now I don't really remember how to do it right, is you want to, there we go. So you can see that's quite a lot faster. It's risky because if you miss it, so the strat there is slash, that I use, slash left, down left, and then you're going to set up, if you get that, which is the bad movement, you need to walk around the left and dash through. But the strat, again, so it's left, down, left, hold your sword. Well, that's not what I intended to do. Left, down, left, and then as you let go of your sword, you hold down left. If you get on this side, you actually just want to walk out of the room. You don't want to dash. Yeah, you can also just dash multiple times. That will also work. Yeah, Denver is correct, 100%. If you go down the stairs, you want to dash. Get up against the wall. Make sure that you are all the way up against the wall. Just walk through here. So you'll see, like, you can basically face down is good. So I don't do like the fastest stuff there. So you can either pick up the pot or hammer it. As you are pushing the block down, so the one thing is you do want to try and slide across it so that you can get a dash off early as soon as you push the block. You can actually push the block like midway through the block. I'm not really going to go over that. If you're at that point, you are not worrying about this. Okay, so you can see this save state used 2 magic. Like where I am, I've used 2 magic, right? You can see I pick one up, I'm not full. If you need both magics, can you not? You're gonna pull this up until you can see, where is it? It's until you can see some floor. So I'm pretty sure it can be as low as here, right? Yeah, so you wanna see some floor. You can see how there's floor underneath the statue. And that will allow you to then, after you pull it up, pick up the pot, walk down, and then come through. If you are, actually that's not gonna work. Whatever, let me just do this again. if you don't need both magic, right, you can pull this guy up. The lowest you can be is here. You'll hear people joke about it. You can see below the statue, it looks like a smiley face, right? You can see there's the 2 white dots and then the little smile. Okay. Perfect. We did it. That's what happens when the prac hack crashes. Anyway, don't stress it too much, but that's the lowest you can be, is the smiley face. Anything above that is fine. Go through, pick up the pot, make sure you have enough magic. If you aren't positive, it's fine to grab the second magic. Like if you got like poked by an anti-fairy somehow or something and you're not 100% sure. Oh yeah, no, everything's fine. Just be, it's better to be safe than sorry. Losing like another half second because you got an extra magic is way better than losing a run because you only have 7 fire rod shots. Pick this up and drop into cold. So I'm going to talk, I actually did a little video on Cold Stare. I'll share it in the channel. So I'm not going to spend a ton of time here. The general gist is there are 3 primary strategies that you will have on Cold Stare if you don't have half magic. If you have half magic, what you want to do is you will like break the shell. You actually want to spin him from the right side, knock him to the left, and then use your fire rod. If you got half magic, this is one of the biggest areas where it's like it makes the fight easier. Spin him up and to the left. I'll actually do it. So you're going to come from here, and you can see where I spun him to. That's where you, like, this sets up really nicely for fire rod shots with splash damage, especially with the spooky value that we have set. So it's very straightforward, but obviously not everyone has that. So the 2 biggest things that I would suggest is learn the timing. I'm gonna echo Foxlist's tutorial on Landmo, which is also super worth watching if you haven't already. Learn the timing on the fire rod shots. Don't mash. Mashing is bad. It will be slower. You will get like dry fire rod swings. It will make it risky. It's very easy to be like, I'm mashing, and then oops, and all of a sudden I'm too high, and runs over, right? Don't mash. It's you want to learn. And what I've found is that it's generally going to be better to pause. I think most runners will tend to pause for a moment or two as you are going up. 1, 2, 3. So like you can see, I pause in between my 3rd and my 4th shot for just a second. And that helps make sure you don't accidentally walk too high. You're close enough that it's not much slower, right? So get up above him and get up against the wall, slash. I usually will wait like what feels like about a quarter of a second. God, F that up. I'll wait like what feels like about a quarter of a second and then start moving into position. So it's like, yeah. Yeah. See, I'm actually too far away right now is why that's happening. This always happens when I try and talk about this fight. I eventually start blowing it every time. The second biggest thing after the timing on the fire rod shots is learning how to release the spin pretty early. The earlier you can release the spin and still hit all 3 puffs, in other words, don't release it while they're invulnerable, the longer time you have to get into good position. I'm not going to talk about double poke. If you're doing double poke, you have a better PV than I do probably. So we're skipping that. That's for single poke though, but also for 6 slash is Releasing the spin earlier gives you more time to get into position to handle Six Slash. One of the biggest things about Six Slash is you saw I was walking back left and right. It allows you to control it better. So instead of just standing there and slashing, you want to slash and then like walk left and then right to slash like that. It allows you to watch the RNG a little bit. Like if the puffs start moving down, you can kind of go down left and then slash. Your goal is to keep bouncing them into the corner. So last thing here is the position. When you release the spin is a good spot where I just was. Basically half of Link is covered by the puffs and you can see Link's feet is a good spot for whatever you're gonna do. So this is why I don't do Six Slash, is that you are at risk of getting hit or getting screwed. Six Slash is fine if you have the opportunity to spend some time and learn one of the poke strats, especially single poke. It is safer because bad RNG can't mess you up. And this is one of those examples, my mantra, faster is safer. So, I don't know why I'm doing this. So we are gonna not go to Swamp, we're gonna go to Mire, right? So we're standing outside Swamp, but it is actually the same. You're going to be on the Fire Rod. Well, maybe not if you don't use. But remember, so it's up left. When you come out of the dungeon after you catch the crystal, don't move. Do not move. Don't go up, don't go down, don't go anywhere. Just walk out of the dungeon. I'm actually going to go back there just to talk very briefly about the flute leaving. So again, this is our session today is going to be focused on... so I actually do my shopping differently. So I would normally be going to Swamp, but that's fine. So here, actually, you know what? I should have just done this to begin with. I'm going to go in and then leave again. All right. So here we are. Right. So this is what it's like when you come out. So just don't move. Don't move at all. Just immediately mirror. You'll get a free quick warp. Menu to the flute. And then what we're going to do is, it's totally fine if you want to stand there. Same as what I was talking about before, you also can do the walk or the dash. The dash is kind of risky here. It is riskier here than it is in Lost Woods, because if you miss, there is a chance that if you're not really paying attention, you will go right off the edge of the island and land in the water, which will then mean that you have to swim to somewhere on land before you can flute again, which increases the time loss. Thank you. So just flute, walk to the right, wait until you hear the second whistle, back to the left. We're going to go get Ether because we're going to Mire. So this means we cannot do the hook climb, which is fine, right? You're going to flute to 1. You need to be really careful, right, with these guys. But the general gist is you want to dash down to the right, get yourself on a, get your spin speed off, go up and around, go down to the bottom right. So there's a little bit of tech here. If you nudge on this, when you go up right, you have a higher chance of being on grid. And you saw I was on grid. When you pause, you actually want to go dead in the middle of this warp. That's a quick warp. So I use the pause buffer there to menu to mirror, hoping that I'm on. So actually, no, I was wrong. I was one too far to the left. So I missed the quick warp. I lied. But that's the idea. You can also then, if you are off, you can try and hit A to get out of super speed state, and then do like a diagonal into the warp to try and get a quick warp. It's mostly free. So here you're going to dash through. The quick warp setup is, you can see, oh God, I hate this dude. Thank you. You can see 2 pixels there. You can see like there's on the far right, like the lighter brown. It's or the dark brown is like flush, right? So you can see right now I can see all of the dark brown or a tiny bit of light. These are both quick warps. You don't want to be too low or you'll grab the heart. So you have a couple options here. You can either dash off, or what a lot of fast runners do is they will menu to book, and they will buffer an up left out of this. Like if you're facing left here, right, and you menu to book and you hold up left out of this, it will give you a free quick hop. Like that. So we're gonna grab the ether. I'm gonna see if I can already have it so we can skip the cutscene. Great. Once you get the, I don't want to show all the flashing lights and everything. Menu to flute, and then you're going to immediately do it and walk down right. And when you hear the second, this is a free, this one is very, very, very safe. Play around with it a little bit, but you really should be able to do the dash there. Just be aware, if you get hit, it will mess up Mire 2 a little bit. So I'm going to talk about that. We're going to flute to 6, and this is where spooky really matters. So you can see that I walked, after I landed, I walked down below the rock, and I'm in the middle of the rock. Your horizontal position here actually matters, where you are when the bird leaves the screen, because it will influence how high or low the bird is. And if you're dead center on this rock, this is safe. Also, like half a tile each way also should be good. That means that you are going to get a good spooky value that we can use to get spooky in Mire. This is a big time save. So the ice, the first room in ice, small time save. Spooky is a very, very, very big time save. Also, if you are dead center like I am, this is really good because it's also, you can see I'm on a quick warp. You will have iframes when you land here, so you have some time to adjust yourself. I'm going to do this again. So we go walk down, right, and what I'm trying to do is get myself facing left and on the quick warp pixel, like dead center in the warp. You can also 1 pixel to the left, I think, is good as well. You want to be facing left for the same reason we just were, is that this is a free quick warp, or excuse me, a free ledge hop. So as soon as we like transition, if you're holding up left here, I can walk up to the corner of that, and I'm still facing left, so I can tap A to quick hop. We're just gonna do some very simple movement around, right? Dashes. Practice these dashes. You want it to be clean. Get here, and this is, we're gonna carry the bird. This is so carryable. We're bringing the bird. Let's go. Come on, buddy. Yeah, don't do that, but it's funny. Okay, so we're on ether. So you have 2 choices. So this is where menu buffers, if anyone's talked to you about menu buffers are really good. I really, really, really like using it on the second. You can either do it here. It's 1 to the left, and this will, so as I unpause, I'm gonna hold to the right. And you can see I'm already lined up here, so I get a clean dash. I actually like doing it here, and I'm gonna walk down and then bonk across. Either way, it gives you a free, menu buffer to set up clean movement. I find that to be a little more useful for me, but whatever you prefer. In this room, so we're just going to kind of illustrate. So this is the slow fast Mire strat, and what I mean by that is, so that is a relatively safe and straightforward version of Mire 2. The problem is that bottom popo can get really squirrely, and can cost you time. Right? So I'm going to do this again. This is absolutely worth practicing. It is very, like you can see, I did not have good movement there. Like I cut my dash off really early and I still got it. The biggest thing is you don't want to be too high, right? You're fire rodding the guy on the right. You want to be low enough that your fire rod doesn't hit the popo. That's the big thing. So it's beam to the right, dash left, dash through him, fire rod, slash, slash, slash. Sometimes that popo can just like F off into a terrible spot, and that can add like a second or 2. When you get good RNG, it is almost as fast as the fastest strat, which I'm not going to cover because, again, also I want to be respectful of time, but it's, if you're worrying about like fastest Mire 2, you are not needing my help right now. But like, the biggest thing here too, you can use a fire rod shot instead of all of your beams, right? So if you get hit, you can see every single one of those I use the fire rod on. And that will allow you to, you will pick up a full magic decanter in a little bit in here. So the idea is that if you get hit, it shouldn't cost you any time. God, this is bad. Yeah. It shouldn't cost you any time. Or not much time. There we go. So that room you just got to practice. So you're going to dash here, you're going to dash up. If you can see this fire snake over here, you can dash along the top. Otherwise, just dash along the bottom. Every once in a while, you get bad RNG. Just complain. The best strat. Just complain. Not a whole lot you can do. You're going to come through here, grab this key. You do not want to be all the way against the wall. That will mess up your key grab. You need to be at least a little bit off. Thank you. All right. You're going to go back out. It's the exact same movement in reverse, right? Here, there are two RNGs. Either this RNG, you cannot, so there's a couple options. You can just walk it, it's fine. Or what you can do is you can come down, you can follow the fire snake until all you can see is Link's hat and then dash. You will have to cut your dash off at the right time. If you dash too far, you will dash into the fire snake. Personally, I never bother, I just walk it. To be totally honest, I don't know how much it's worth. But if the fire snake goes down like that, you can dash here. Why this matters is you have two choices. So what we talk about when we say beat the fireball is as you come up these stairs, you can either go up or just delay up here a little bit somehow and then dash down. Or if you've had clean movement, you can come up here. Generally, what I've seen is you want to nudge very, very slightly on this and you dash down and you try and beat this fireball. The goal is to, it's not a huge, honestly, it's not a huge time difference. Like going up here a little bit and then dashing down is totally fine. So left. So the big thing there is we're going to dash left and then you want to slash left. So we actually are going to move down before you hit the switch. And the reason is you want that key to be as high as possible. If you hit the berry downward, it will knock the key lower, which is slower. Whoops. Right? So it's here. Take a step down, slash to the left. Take a step left in this room before you go down left. So in this room, there are two main things to know about. One is if this slug is like up at the top here, you can slash it for a free bomb, or you can just dash below it and dash around it. Either one is fine. If he's anywhere but like plugged right here, just dash down and then dash along this. The second is you have a free fire rod if that berry is blocking you, because there is a full magic under this that we're about to get. So if that berry is in your way, if it's bothering you at all, get him. There's no reason not to, right? So like he's, and honestly, I didn't need that. I could have just walked around it, but like just to illustrate, right? You have a free fire rod shot, just get him out of the way. All right, torches. I'm not going to do the torches stuff. Are we? Okay. That's annoying. Maybe, do we have fast walls? Hopefully I have fast walls. We'll find out. I guess I am going to do the torches. So the big thing there, right, is you want to push the block and then fire rod. Here, you actually don't want to be, oh good, we do. You don't want to be up, this should be a dash, by the way. You don't want to be up all the way against this when you fire rod. It doesn't matter that much, but like fire rodding from below just allows you to walk straight right. So here, we're going to do this, get the big key. I'm going to skip it, just, you can dash out. The thing I wanted to show is I prefer, and I think it is very slightly faster, walk left and then pump up in the water. You gain more benefit from pumping in water than you do on land. So you can just pump into here. down right into this dash. Straight down into that dash is barely faster than down right. So, Spark Gamble. I'm going to use this because I don't actually have the big key right now. So, you have two choices. If you are comfortable, you can dash along here. And so, trying to dash through this spark, ideally you pause just before I did, right? If you pause slightly sooner, it gives you a better chance of frame ruling the spark and beating it that way. It means you are... So first off, if the fire snake is down here, you can't spark gamble. You will have to walk up, dash along this, and then just walk down. There's no choice. I think that's all right. But like, is if you get a good damage bounce, you can get through it quicker, right? If you don't want to spark gamble does cost you a heart. Walk down right to here. And so you saw I walked down until I was basically even with this blue peg. Because if you dash too early, you will get hit by the spark, like this spark. Dash down here, dash over here, and go out, right? So I'll just do that one more time. So hold down right, get against this, and get to the fourth, sorry, let me do this one. To that fourth little like chain. So that was good because I've already done the menu now. Go down right. Do not walk cardinal down. It is slower than diagonaling. If you're going to hookshot something, diagonal into the hookshot. It's faster. Diagonals. Out the same. If you dash, it removes the possibility of the Stalfos messing you up. In this room, great. Yeah. Oh, sorry. It looks like it's okay now. Maybe I had, I might have had like an issue there for a second. I'm sorry. For us noobs who haven't routed swamp. Oh, yes. Excuse me. Thank you for asking. Just walk, right? So you have two choices. One, you can dash here, just go around like this and dash up, right? Just like that. The other option is you can make it walking. Diagonal here, walk underneath, right? You see, you can make it walking. It's better to dash, right? Cardinal down, dash, cancel, up you go, right? But if you're having a hard time, or if you're bonking there, which I've seen people bonk there a lot on the wall, you can also just try walking. It's totally fine. Yeah. No, that's totally fine. Also, Spark Gamble is going to be less valuable if you are, if you don't have the hook shot, because you don't need that menu. So, plus you won't have done swamp, so you won't have the extra heart. Okay, so on that note, or whiz rope. So if you have the hook shot, or you can do this with a dash as well, right? You can just dash to there. But if you have the hook shot, you want to go down left, just hook shot there and grab it. If you want to do the fastest, it's dash into him, but you can't dash right away. It'll be too early. You have to walk a little bit into the room and then dash. There we go. So, but if you want the health, it's still fine, but you don't actually need to kill him if you want the health. You can just dash below. Right? Like, that's fine. Yeah, so this is an option. If you don't want the spike key, you have the choice of going to get the, so that's actually, I should call it out. It's about, if you're not going to get the spike key, it's actually better to get the key on the lobby. After you come out of getting the big key, you can go around and get the lobby, the mesh key, instead of the spike key. It's like 10 or 15 seconds slower. It's a pretty big time cost, but if you're like worried about health, let's say you got hit by the slug, that's an option. Okay, so basement. So we're gonna talk spooky here. We're getting pretty close to the end. So because that's just a dash, right? So in this room, what you want is so I always use a pause buffer. You want to actually cancel your dash on the left side of the pot, because you're going to want to place your block on the left side of the pot. So I use a pause buffer, go to Samaria, and I'm holding down out of this menu. So you can see I was like kind of left half of this more or less, right? If you're not going to try and do spooky, you don't have to worry about it. Just walk. Also, you don't have to place it from above. Eventually you want to be on the left side of the pot. Is basically, it's like 3 A presses. It's A to pick up the pot, A to dash, A to throw the pot, A to dash dust, and then Y. A-Y. That's the movement. Sorry. Where did we lose? Yeah, sorry. Where did I lose you? Yeah, I don't show any dropped frames, so I apologize. But so what I was saying is really, so again, just to reiterate, it is totally fine to pick up. So after you get to Samaria, it is totally fine to pick up the pot, throw it, and then lay the Samaria block from below. That is totally fine. So you pick up the pot, cancel your dash, walk below, do that. This is still so much faster than non-spooky, like by a ton. Spooky saves like 12, I think it's like 12 seconds. So even if everything we do in that room is like 2 seconds slower than optimal, you're still saving a ton of time. It's very worth, right? So you want to dash to the left. I use a menu buffer to get to Samaria, right? Pick up the pot and throw it is fine. And then it's tap A, and then you want to lay the Samaria block while your dash dust is on screen. That is the thing that preserves your altitude variable. So you can see in the upper right now, there's the spooky thing. It says 8B. And if I just lay the Samaria block right now, went to 0. It's gone forever. Too bad. But if I dash dust, I'll just do it up here. If I hit A and then Y, you can see that it preserves that number. And why that matters is that 8B, that altitude variable, is going to be where the splash damage on the fire rod hits. And we're able to actually use that to hit a switch a couple of switches in the next couple rooms. That's where we actually, that's what spooky is. The reason it's called spooky, I did want to talk about this because it's, I think, maybe the best named glitch we have, is there is a quantum physics concept that is called spooky action at a distance, which has to do with when you, I'm going to probably get this somewhat wrong, but I think it's when you have two particles that are quantum entangled, you can actually separate them, and then things that you do on one will actually affect the other, even though they are no longer in contact. And so the idea here is that similarly, what we're going to do is shoot a fire rod shot, and it's going to hit something on the screen, and the effect is going to occur off the screen. Which is exactly right. So it's a very cool, cool concept, and it's a very cool glitch name. But so just to cover what you're supposed to do again, what we're trying to do here is we're trying to get this pot, dash dust, and drop the drop Samaria. Just for the rando players out there, this will also work with other things to preserve spooky, such as the ice rod or the fire rod. Just going to mention that, like, you can shoot an ice rod, and while the ice rod beam is on screen, if you drop a Samaria block, it won't reset the spooky value. So, okay, right. So what you want to do is pick up the pot from the left side if you can. Though this is the fastest, and then so 3A presses gets you dropping it and out. This is, I've spent a lot of time on this, but this is something a lot of people don't do. It is absolutely worth learning. One other thing I do want to call out, because it will happen All right. Looks like I'm back.
Okay, I have reset everything that I know how to do, so hopefully it's back up.
I can see it. I can see it. I think we're back. I can see it. I think we're good. All right. Okay. Yes. Hi. That was fun. So you guys missed it. I actually just I just set a world record. It was crazy. I'm so sorry that you all missed it though. It's too bad. So anyway, yes. So we set up Spooky. One thing that I was just going to add is if you accidentally like don't get far enough to the right and you hit the block here, it is actually possible to beat the block dashing out. Right, like if you like hit it like that, give it a try. Like there's almost, and then I still beat it out the door. Like it is actually possible to beat the block. Anyway. Oh, nope. All right, there we go. So we're going to talk just spooky action. I want to try and get to this before whatever is happening here dies. So what you've done once you've set this up is you're going to walk below this spike, and then you don't want to be too high. If you're too high, your fire rod will go right through the spike. But you can see that, like, if you are in the right spot, right, basically you can fire rod, and if you hit this spike, it actually hits the switch. So we have just hit the switch. So if I walk up here, you can see that it's like, now it's red again. It was blue before, right? So this allows us to then pass through into the next room. And this room now allows us to do the same thing. So these are, what I just did there is the safer, what I would argue is the safer version of the strat, the walk strat, which is, right? You just walk underneath him, walk up a little bit, walk to the left. So one thing I do see is I see people do this and then they'll go up further. You don't need to. Just walk under him, walk up a couple of tiles, and then fire rod, right? Like, that is fairly quick, right? However, you can, so I messed it up. You can literally like 2 screens.
I know. I'm just not sure what of the end people have seen. Like,
Right.
Chat, has he given you guys enough to work with that you can make a tutorial out of it, or?
I don't know if they can hear you. Okay, I think it's back. It looks back. I'm just gonna try and like rush through.
Okay, good luck.
Yeah, thank you. All right, sorry, I'm gonna try and rush through this. I don't know why this is being such a jerk, but so yeah, the general gist is that you have like a couple different ways where you can do this room. Right, again, you can slash. I find this to be like highest speed, but it is, you can mess up either by being in the wrong spot or being too high. Like you can cancel your dash there and still walk out, right? The slash means that the Stalfos can't really mess you up. The Q. If you're gonna walk, just walk there, up a tile, and just fire rod. It's like 10 frames slower. In this room, you have 3 different ways to do it. We're just gonna... There. Right, so here you have a few different ways you can do this. One is the walk strat. What I just did there, right? You can literally just walk up, fire rod the bottom. I need to be more over to the left. Is it the spike, maybe? No, I thought that I had the right variable there. No. There we go. Okay, it's more to the right. So you have the option of trying to do this walk strat. I don't really like this. Bitey loves this strat. If you really want to learn it, just go talk to Bitey. Your general options are going to be 2. One, you can dash above, walk around like I just did there. Right? Hit the torch from the left side. Like that. The other option is dash up, walk below here, and then fire rod the torch. This is faster. It's a little bit riskier because you need cleaner movement. If you have non-clean movement, you will get hit like that. So, in this room, take a step up, right? You can also walk here. So you can walk along here. What you're going to want to do either way is walk into this door a little bit to let the fire snake go by. You can see that in the door, the fire snake goes below you and you won't get hit. After that, if you're going to walk, where the anti-fairy is, you want to pause for a half second. If you're walking, you walk here, pause, and then walk through. If you're going to dash, it's basically walk part of the way into the door, dash turn, and you will avoid the anti-fairy. In this room, you can either go, you can either go below the torch or above it. So if you're doing the dash, what I like to do is dash here, use this as the opportunity to menu, and then you can kind of buffer. If you're too far, you should have enough time to like move back again. Oh. All right. So like this is what the dash stuff looks like. And then you can just walk up. And if you're going to walk, it's up here, walk, pause for a half second, and then you can still dash. You don't have to go below the torch, you can just go above it like that. Okay, Viddy. All right. Just do that. No. All right, we're going to talk about it for a second. So ideally you're on the bow at this point. So you're going to walk up to this thing and slash your sword left like this. Then you're going to walk. The next thing you're going to do is walk so that you are like the cue that's given is like this diamond, like this tile, like being fully on like this tile, like the 1, 2, 3. Like you can see the right. I actually use Link's hat. So I'm like, Link's hat is to the left of that eyeball. Yeah, I've got... Really? I didn't hit him at all. Okay. But the basic gist of this is you want to try and get this like very... Oh, I didn't even know. Oh yes, Pops is correct. If you are not doing spooky, you are going to need to hit the switch with generally Samaria is a good one. Excuse me. Then bomb the next room, and then you have to dash up to the top and throw the pot. This is probably what everyone has done before, so I'm not going to spend too much time. So you want to basically, ideally, use a lot of like very kind of like clear diagonals. Like I'll see some people, this is especially in rando, you'll see a lot of this like kind of big loopy movement like that. It's very dangerous. Loopy movement like that, it's very scary. You can get yourself in trouble because it's slow. Right? Like you'll see people do like, and you sometimes get away with it. Like that's a 1 cycle, but I got away with it. But like you really want to try, the biggest thing in my experience to making this fight better, again, faster is safer. Learn how to like get through this. Ugh. Get out. I'm not hitting this guy at all. You really want to keep your movement tight. It's like cardinals there, clear down. If you are really clean at the fight, you can do it with 5 hearts, losing only 4. Generally, you want to have at least 6 hearts. But that's the biggest thing is like, so it's slash to the left, up, down, up, left, right, down, right, right, and then moving back into the middle. Then you'll do cleanup, like that guy is, like you can shoot arrows or slash, depending. See, like this is where you do need to like watch out. If you get like the far left eyeball, you just need to keep an eye on it and make sure you don't do like what I just did. Because they can mess you up if you're trying to be like a little too tight. And then, so here's the thing. How fast you do that, like how quickly you kill all of the little eyes doesn't matter, but as if you beat the first cycle. If you don't beat the first cycle, it won't matter if you don't beat the cycle. Like, point being, like, it's a timer. Everything is all on a timer. So however many eyes are left, little eyes, is what defines the timer. So from right now until the lightning strike, or when Viddy would, like, aggro, the big eye would aggro, there is nothing that you can do to make this fight faster. So like failing that, this is the same amount of time, no matter what. So this is really, nope. It's all practice. What I All right, I think I'm back. Hello? All right. So hopefully that makes sense, and hopefully too much of it didn't get lost. I saw like I disappeared somewhere in the middle of it. We're at the end here, blessedly. Sorry about all the stream issues. But the biggest thing with this fight, so first off, this is just one you have to practice. You have to practice the movement. Try to keep your movements tight, right? You've got to like just learn the cues, and then you really want to keep your movements as tight as you can. Like, this fight is dangerous, if you let it be dangerous. This is another great example of fast is safe, slow is unsafe. That was bad. But like that's really the big thing, is focus on learning. For me, like getting this part, if you can get this first part, like get that part, the rest will start to make a lot more sense. If you can get those first slashes consistently, everything else will start being like, oh, okay. So focus on that. Any specific questions? I feel like hopefully it was not too unwatchable. But anybody have any other questions they'd like me to cover? I think otherwise we're at the Vidi Crystal Catch. All right. Thank you all so much.
PH.
All right.
Sorry about the issues. Thank you, PH. I appreciate you. Sorry about all of the issues. But was it? Okay, I wasn't sure. I was trying my best. I don't either. I'll look into it though, so that hopefully it doesn't happen again. But you did a great job. The buffering, the NMG announcements section for this mentor program in the ZSR server. The deadline to submit a run if you want to join is the 21st, which is Friday, and you must follow the NMG rule set, and they need to be full runs. The races begin the 24th, so there is a bit of overlap. But if you have enjoyed racing as a part of this mentor program and you like doing it, I'd suggest, if you like racing and you know the run, get a qualifying run in and have some fun with that program. So besides that, we are looking into some options for a restream for the next weekend, for the next race, and maybe even some fun options like showing off some things besides just racing or just doing speedrun runs with NMG, such as co-op or one mind. So stay tuned, follow the NMG announcements, and thank you for everyone on the back end of the restreamers for Zelda Speedruns for helping me out. Thank you again, PH, and you guys have a good rest of your Sunday. Until next time, peace.